Good evening, guys. How are we all doing today? I hope you guys are doing exceptionally well. Today's little sort of not impromptu, but kind of like I hadn't planned on doing this video. This is basically just a video that I was going to do eventually, but I didn't know how I was going to do it. But I decided to turn this into an informational video. As you can tell from the title, Swunting on Arkadia. Bracket sweat hunting. Okay, what do I mean by swunting? For those of you that are really new to the game, swunting is just an abbreviation of sweat hunting. It's when you're sweating, but you're also hunting. What is sweating, you ask? Sweating is when you grab a handy dandy tool that's up in here. This one, VSC Mark 1. I think the one you get on Arkadia looks quite different, but yeah. The main point behind sweating is to go over to a creature, use this tool on that creature, and then gather bottles of sweat. These bottles of sweat you can gather for free, and you can then sell to other players. Right now, 1,000 bottles of sweat sell for 1 PED. The maximum amount of sweat you can draw from a creature is equal to the amount of hit points that it has, and the amount of sweat you can grab in each pull or attempt is between 1 and 4. So, today's little thing is a bit of an impromptu informational session on Swunting Gallards. Right, where you're going to be doing this is down here in Arkadia. Now, there's swunting you can do on Calypso. You can swunt in, like, the starting area, you know, in Camp Icarus and all that sort of stuff. Other planets I have no idea about. But most people, from my knowledge, generally either start on Arkadia or they start on Calypso. Most people start on Calypso because it's the more well-known thing. So down here at the quarry, you know, if you're in the center of the quarry over there, you're going to go to your right and come out of this exit here. Now, if you travel up this way, you're going to find these turkey-looking creatures. They're called Gallards. Now, the cool thing about swunting or sweat hunting the Gallards is there is an IFN challenge for them. I'm not sure how far you need to go in order to... I'm not sure how far you can go with the level 1s, so we're going to test it out now. So, how you sweat hunt, you equip your VSE Mark 1, find a creature, and start sweating it. Me, I have my use tool thing hotkeyed to my F key. So, you sweat these guys. Now, these guys don't hit that hard. And after a while, your evade skill is going to be so high that they hardly ever hit you. And they hit you for so little that by the time they hit you again, you've already healed from that hit. Right? Now, I have, like, someone had told me that these guys have 10 HP and you can get 15 bottles of sweat from them. That is false. They have 15 HP and you can only gather 15 bottles of sweat from these happy chappies. Now, I'm going to outline all of the information that I have here for what you can expect while swunting with... Alright, see? 15 HP. Now, if we look at the amount of damage with a Barbarella, 7.9, 5.7. You know, these guys have about 15. These guys have 15 health points. So, that is how you swunt. You go up, you sweat them dry, and then you kill them, right? So, I'm going to head back, and I'm going to basically run through all the information that I have using the Z12 Barbarella at full TT. Now, if you don't have a Barbarella, you will be able to use the trade terminal weapons. That's not an issue. 100 PED worth of ammunition, be that universal ammunition or weapon cells or BLP, right? The amount of sweat you can gather from the Gallards, the average shot to kill the Gallards, and all the subsequent information that comes from that. Alright, so here is basically the information. So if you want to get out a pen and paper to write this down, then feel free to do that. Alright, so step 1. The Barbarella. The Barbarella, the decay is like 0.0002 PED. So it's fuck all, right? So from a full TT, like a fully repaired Barbarella, you're going to be looking at 5,000 total shots before you need to repair it. Now, the amount of shots that you can get from 100 PED worth of ammunition... Now, remember, I just shot, a thing, so I have a little bit less now. But from 100 PED, the total shots with the Barbarella is 4,651. Gallards have 15 HP, which equals 15 bottles of available sweat. Those are the parameters, right? The average shot to kill Gallards is 3 shots, right? So 3 shots to kill a Gallard. On average, sometimes you'll kill them in 2, sometimes you'll critical hit them and kill them in 1, sometimes you'll kill them in 4. But if you average it out, it comes to about 3 shots per kill. Now, on average amount of Gallards killed with 100 PED worth of ammunition with a Barbarella is 1,550. Way I got that number was just grabbing the total amount of shots and dividing it by 3. Right, so you grab that, you divide it by 3, and then you get the amount. Bottles of sweat. If you sweat dry every single one of the Gallards that you kill, you'll get 23,250 bottles of sweat. The current sweat price is 1 PED for 1,000 bottles of sweat. Therefore, from 100 PED Gallards Swant, right, that is 100 PED hunting and sweating dry Gallards, you will get 23.25 PED in sweat that you can then sell to players. Now, here's where it becomes, like, now you got to think, okay, well, that's the sweat. What about the loot? Alright, so the loot is going to be the main sort of thing. Like, when you're swunting, you want to find creatures that either drop materials frequently or drop materials that have a really good markup. If they drop materials really, really frequently, it doesn't have to be a ridiculously high markup. But you do want to go for the mobs that have materials with, like, loot with higher level markup. So, the TT value from loot needed to break even, if you were to sweat all of the Gallards dry, you would need, like, and this is also accounting for the Barbarella, the repair of the Barbarella. In order to break even just in TT value, you would need to get 77.75 PED in TT value. Now, that sounds pretty reasonable. If you're able to get that in TT value, then all the markup stuff will be absolute gravy. Now, the items that I've seen drop from Gallards are shrapnel, animal muscle oil, animal oil residue, Gallard hide, and animal hide. Now, with the shrapnel, just turn it into universal ammunition. Best way to do it, don't bother selling it. Animal muscle oil, it has a markup for the month of 103.19%. Animal oil residue, which you can use in crafting to, bump up the TT value of certain stuff. As far as I'm aware, it acts the same as, end matter residue and things like that. The markup for it is 100.81%, so not much. Gallard hide, however, is 130.99% for the month. So if you're able to get a good amount of Gallard hides, right? If you're able to get 10 PED worth of Gallard hides, that will be 13 PED you'll be able to sell it for. Then you also have standard animal hide, which is 110.34. There's probably other items that I've missed that you will be able to get from these guys, but that is the basic information that I'm going to give you guys today. This is not like a, oh wow, easy money making sort of crap. No, this is just like, okay, if you're going to swant, right? Sweat hunt, do it. this is what you can expect, at least from Swunting Gallards. They're easy to sweat, they're easy to kill, they don't do fuck all damage, and the drops that they give you, you do have some drops with decent markup. So, logic would dictate that if you're going to swant while you're on Arkadia, swant the Gallards. People have said, go and swant those things. I've swanted them, and I agree. Go and swant the Gallards. Now, one thing I will mention is Swunting is a long affair. Ridiculously long affair. If you're using 100 PED, you're going to be at it all fucking day. Probably even longer. In fact, one of these days I'm going to sit down, I'm going to see how long it takes for me to spend 100 PED Swunting. I'll see. I'll just see what happens. It's going to be a long day. That's for damn sure. It's going to be a long freaking day when I do that. Anyway, guys, it's been about 11 minutes, or it's been over 11 minutes. That's all that I wanted to say in this video. There is going to be more videos out more frequently now. I've changed a few things up in my personal life. It's going to allow me to work on this channel and work on a few other things at home as well. I've altered my studying, so essentially I'll be studying online for the foreseeable future, so there's going to be a lot of changes, hopefully for the good. I'm going to be able to work on everything a lot more, which I'm very excited about. So yeah, look forward to more videos in the future. Anyway, guys, so that is the information for the Gallards Swunting. Happy playing, happy swunting, happy hunting, happy mining, and all that shit in between. Oh, and of course crafting. Happy crafting. Enjoy yourselves, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one.